Willie D Live.
What's up, family? The spokesperson for Karmelo Anthony, accused of fatally stabbing Frisco, Texas high school track star Austin Metcalf, took to X on Monday to address his father for the second time, provoking a strong response from Jeff Metcalf. On April 17th, Dominique Alexander of the Next Generation Action Network led a news conference where Jeff Metcalf, Austin's father, was escorted out by police. At the beginning of the news conference, Alexander called Jeff Metcalf disrespectful, said that him showing up at that press conference uninvited, unannounced, was a disrespect to the dignity of his son. What y'all think about that, fam? Anybody agree? Give me a thumbs up if you agree. Thumbs down if you say, no, man, no. Man had a right to be there. My thoughts. I'm with Dominique on this one. Totally inappropriate. No matter how you feel, no matter how badly you want to hear what they have to say, get it out of the media just like everybody else. Let's compare apples to apples. Imagine what would have happened if Karmelo Anthony's father had shown up at a Metcalf family press conference. Could have turned out to be one of those Donald Trump type rallies. You know how they do. You dig what I'm saying? Nah, and then they would have been talking about how disrespectful he is. Apple don't fall far from the tree, like father, like son. He's totally disrespectful, totally ghetto, and all this type of stuff. They would have been everything in the book. But when they do it, they figure out a way to justify. Well, the man was hurt, he killed his son. He has a right. He has a right to show up. That's the least they could do is allow him to come to the press conference. And they got every excuse in the book. Yeah. Furthermore, this is what Dominique Alexander had to say on X. Over a week and a half ago, the Next Generation Action Network held a private press conference at our headquarters to support the Anthony family. Since then, misinformation has circulated online, and I want to set the record straight. Jeffrey Metcalf, the father of Austin Metcalf, arrived uninvited. He was not part of the event and was not welcomed. Our staff, along with the plainclothes Dallas police officers already on site for security, approached him multiple times and respectfully asked him to leave. He refused. We didn't even know who he was until a member of the media identified him. Once we realized his identity, we again asked him to leave. Still, he refused. It wasn't until uniformed officers were called that he finally walked out. Some people online claim he came in peace, but that doesn't change the facts. He delayed a sensitive press event by more than 40 minutes, ignored repeated peaceful requests, and created a tense situation. This is a pending criminal case, and it was completely inappropriate for any interaction between the families to occur. Being in pain doesn't give anyone the right to ignore boundaries or show up uninvited. The Next Generation Action Network has been around for over 10 years. We've learned that part of our responsibility is to prevent harm before it happens. We approached this situation with peace and patience. The choice to escalate was not ours. We will always put safety first for our staff, our guests, and the families we serve. Thank you to those who continue to stand for truth, dignity, and justice. Minister Dominique Alexander. Question: does anyone believe this case is about race? Anybody? Because Lord forbid I play the race card. Anybody believe this case is about race? Now, we know a youngster was killed. We know that happened. We know a youngster killed him. Aside from that, if these two were just two youngsters, and they were of the same hue. Let's say both were black or both were white. Are we having this conversation right now? I don't think so. I don't think that this would be an international case. Race is always a factor in this ununited states. In these ununited states, race is always a factor. Don't you ever in your life come at me with that, well, it's always got to be about race. Well, it's always about race because you make it about race. I actually try to not make it about race. I actually try to ignore it. But some of these cases just can't be ignored. Some of these cases got to be presented to the public. You got to speak on it. And you have to be sure to offer a different perspective so that they don't control the narrative. Because that's what they try to do, control the narrative. I've heard these people uplift serial killers, real like gangsters. I'm talking about gangsters who kill government officials and all kinds of stuff. Man, they go out there and do something, man. The first thing they start talking about is, woe me, woe him, woe her. How they didn't have the proper guidance growing up. They were abused. They start talking about, but he was very intelligent despite his horrible upbringing. He was very educated, very intelligent. Even when they're not intelligent, they try to act like they were intelligent. Yeah. It's always about race. It's always about race. So what did Jeff Metcalf have to say about all of this? I don't allow Alexander to live rent-free in my mind. It really doesn't matter about the lies this man spreads. He just wants more attention. Don't give it to him. Justice will prevail. Justice will prevail. We'll see about that. No more talk.